so I think words hold great power.
They do.
Don't you?
Yeah.
I think, you talked about the negative talk that was given to you in the modeling industry as an example that you then absorbed as your own voice inside.
It's vibrations, you do absorb them.
Yep. And I think whether it's, who's been telling you those voices or how you've adopted them for yourself, one of the other skill sets that I've developed in this journey to more body confidence and overall self-esteem has been power mantras, has been phrases. So I believe that the way that we think informs how we speak, which then will help how we feel. And so words have power.
They do.
And so I'd love to do an exercise next with us that is about crafting your own power mantra, because I feel like gratitude is a great practice, critical thinking has been a great practice. But if you want to start to get more focused into a goal for yourself or something that you can kind of have a phrase that you carry with you, doesn't have to be forever, but I find that those power mantras for me, I wake up saying them, I go to sleep saying them, and they've become a really important tool. So shall we do one?
I'm ready.
Okay, so in front of you is this worksheet, or will be in a moment. Surprise, and the magic of television. No, we're gonna pass out these worksheets. So let me just,
it's also interesting as well. I don't know how many of you, if you ever watched my Mirror Challenge show, but this is one of the first places I started. And we unpacked, a bit like the beauty ideal, I unpacked in front of the mirror how someone was defining themselves. And I would say most of the people I worked with, their definition of themselves was from a bully or a family member or something negative someone else had said to them. So one of the girls, she'd been called horseface, and that was, she was bullied and bullied and bullied. And so when she looked in the mirror, those were the words that would just come completely attacking her. And so we had to work on the fact that, right, those are the definition these bullies were trying to make you feel. Now we have to take the ownership back. I want you to find words that empower you, that you believe in, and then you start saying those to yourself in front of the mirror. So this is really, again, a great thing to write down, have your mantras, and then do it in the mirror and give yourself eye contact and really give yourself permission to be powerful, to be courageous, to be creative, and not let yourself be defined by something else someone has taught you.
Yeah, I think words can be so powerful because they also feel so casual sometimes, right? We throw a lot of language around if we're able to use language. We throw that around a lot, and the way that we unpack those beauty ideals, I'd love for us to come up with a power mantra, a piece that feels personal to you. We offer these worksheets. Again, I think this is something you can do on your phone, in your journal, as the moment strikes you. If anybody happens to be watching this at home, this will also be on our website that we'll be able to share.
Download, print off.
Yep, download it and go. But we gave you some starter words. I want to encourage you to also include other words that might resonate more for you. But we gave words like imagine or power, gratitude, grace, hope, trust, and these are just words. They're not formed yet into those phrases. We wanted to give you a starter kit kind of to think about if you were to make a power phrase for today, something that you want to work on, because we're all about specificity, right?
Yes.
So I'll give you an example. My husband and I have a daily ritual. We do it in the morning, we do it at night. And if we're not together, like right now I'm traveling, we text it to each other, or we leave voicemail messages, or we do it because it is so important for us. And our power mantra is, I deserve the best and accept it now, gratefully and graciously. And it takes, what did that take? 5 seconds? But I'll tell you what it does. It actually brings me back into the space of worth. Because I have negative voices that run through me that will tell me all day long that I'm not worth something that's happening, right? Or that I have to compare myself to something else, and I have to keep almost resetting, like rebooting, like a computer, right? So this reboots my mind. But I love doing it with a partner because it also holds me accountable, and it's really fun to see how it manifests in their life too, right? Like what changes when we do that. So it takes 5 seconds and we do it. So I deserve the best and accept it now, gratefully and graciously, that's mine. We'd love for you to take a little bit, look at these words, feel free to add your own, but think about right now, what power mantra could serve you? What do you need right now that might give you a little boost in thinking about a reminder, right?
Yeah. Imagine even just taking this much time a week, just 1 hour a week, to sit down, think about how your week went, think about how you're feeling, go back, do these worksheets. Like, tune in every week, give yourself that time, because we're really not, and it's so invaluable to actually give yourself that one-on-one time.
Totally.
It's life-changing.
How many of you have ever done a power mantra before, have written kind of your words or phrases? Just show of
Yeah.
hands, yeah? Okay, great.
About half the room. Then.
Yeah. That's great. It was a newer tool for me many years ago, and it's just been a easy peasy way to get back to myself.
And there's you want to try a few out as well,
For
because
sure.
there's some that's I can think, oh, maybe I'll do that, but it doesn't register with me sometimes. I can't fully get behind it, weirdly.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to really find and seek out what works for you and what you like.
Sure.
I can get pumped up on it.
Do you feel that they change over time, or do you?
I think so. Like, in fact, even just this from yesterday, and you know, my power mantra has always been "I am enough," but it's kind of moving towards like I know that now. So I think mine actually is going to become "I believe in my power," because I think for a while I kind of I don't know. I still put a glass ceiling over my capabilities, over what I could achieve, you know. And I've already done so much. It's like I've got to believe in myself, because what I'm doing, I know it's power and it's special and it can have a positive impact.
Yeah.
So
I think your words create your reality. And so I love what Iskra just said, which is that what she was saying for a moment served a purpose to get her to a space.
Yep.
Right? I think you can all relate to that. And then I do think they should I think they need to change, because I think that's part of our growth. I mean, this is the one that I'm stuck on now, is like the deserve the best seems to be what feels like a great reminder. But in the past, I've also done I'm enough. I sometimes will say all is well in my world.
Nice.
Sometimes if I'm a very spiritual person, and so sometimes I will say like I'm under divine order and divine protection in all of my affairs, especially when I travel. I'll say that a lot, right? I'm safe, I'm sound, I'm healthy, I'm okay. Just things that sometimes they're soothing mantras, sometimes they're power mantras.
Yeah, that's very
sometimes
soothing. That makes me feel soothed.
Right.
Yeah.
So what did you come up with? We'd love to hear what yours are. Leah.
I wrote, I trust in myself and my own divine timing.
Oh, I love it, and it's so relevant.
I trust in myself and my own divine
Don't make me
timing.
cry.
I know I'm gonna cry, but I won't.
Stop it.
We can all cry. Crying is great, but no,
It
that's
is
really
great.
beautiful. So that really resonates for you, it sounds
Yes.
like. Okay.
Especially where I'm at now, and again, just like tuning in and checking in with yourself, like trust your gut instinct. You've always had yourself, and you don't need to compare anyone's time or journey. Have your own divine timing.
Is that a new one that just came to you, or is that
It
one?
instantly came to me, like it felt very right. I'm very instinctive and also spiritual and vibrate off of energy. And I was just like, do you know what? This makes a lot of sense. It just came to me.
Can you read it
feels
one more
right.
time?
Yeah, I said, I trust in myself and my own divine timing.
That gives me some chilies too.
Yeah.
Well, and I love it. I like I statements and power mantras too, because it's not general, it's specific, it's yours. But the sense of believing in your own timing is really powerful, because that helps with our compare and despair out in the world, right?
I think especially as a female, we have so many time restraints put on us, or things that we should be hitting.
Yes.
I remember being even maybe 17, I think, well, I must have a partner by this age, I must have kids, I must have a house, I was like, oh, this is so much pressure, like, get away, let me just be free.
It reminds me of the same pressure I'm looking at that board.
It
It's
does.
the same thing,
yeah,
right?
It's all feeding into it.
And it's all future state, so I love that. Who
Love
else
that.
wants to share?
I did believe in yourself, trust in yourself, and never forget to love yourself.
Love that.
I
Believe
love
in
that.
yourself, trust
That has
yourself.
a really nice balance to it as well.
You can hear it, right?
Yeah.
When the words come to life, there's a rhythm, there's a
Yes.
cadence, there's just a feeling. Who else?
I put, it's not necessarily an I statement, but give my positivity to the universe. Because I feel like if I'm not impacting others with when I'm feeling positive, then it's almost like a waste. So I want to make sure that when I'm feeling good, I'm able to have others feel that way too.
Yeah.
Because my impact is just as important as my feelings.
That's really interesting as well, because I think when we're talking about body confidence and we're talking about our bodies and we're talking about who we are as this vessel, for me, one of the ways that I got out of that place of insecurity, body image issues, was seeing that I could have a purpose. And then that gave me such a bigger worth and value system, that having an insecurity about my thighs touching was like the least of my problems. I was like, I'm a vessel here, created to be exactly who I am right now. Let me have some purpose. Let me go and gift this energy that I have. So I think that's a really great way to put everything in perspective.
I do too. Who else wants to share? Let's take one more.
Come on, Gage.
Okay.
Come
So
on,
mine
Sarah.
so mine's simple. Mine is everything is always working out for me. But I think I do a powerful one every morning. I didn't realise I'd done until Iskra heard me.
Yes.
I woke up and I was like, damn, you are amazing. You are it. Look at you. She does more than I do.
I'm much louder than that. She's like, oh my God, you are amazing and you're beautiful and you're and I was like, go on then, girl. I was like, this is a great way to start the day.
This morning I looked at this morning and I was just like, you can do it, you deserve it, you own it today. But I don't realise I do it until someone hears me, and then I'm like, damn.
That's just become your default? I love that. But you've seen all those videos online of the little girls in the mirror doing that? But I love that this has no age to do that we can all start doing that.
We should be.
We're gonna just call it the gauge from now on.
Gauge.
Do your gauge.
Do you, Gage?
I love it. I mean, this is really inspiring. Anybody else inspired to share? I want to give this space for one more. Yes,
well,
great.
Mine is just, I am strong, I am smart, which is both against like voices that I tell myself, like to say, no, I'm, you know what I mean? So just really straight to the point.
I love that you brought that up because I wanted to wrap this all around again in this toolbox that Iskra and I are helping you to create today, which is, critical thinking and finding gratitude and then creating power mantras or mantras that can really work for you. But I like what you said right here because, and also Cal, I think to your point, like these are meant and designed for you to address what you need in the gap space, right, to get you there. And that's what I love about them. They're just not, I don't love just affirmation for affirmation's sake. And just like Iskra said, like I could read a bunch of those inspirational memes on Instagram and not think twice about them, right? I call it SFSN. It sounds fabulous and it signifies nothing. It's very fluffy and but it's not mine, right? Yeah. And I love what you said because these mantras can also be about how they can connect the dots maybe for the internal voices that you're struggling with. So if you're not feeling enough, by constantly saying to yourself, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough, I'm enough, you will shift that energy. There is a physiological and a psychological and emotional experience. So I love that. So I would encourage us, I would encourage us to be free and flowing with these power mantras because pull them in as you need to, share them with your friends or keep them to yourself. If you want this to be a personal ritual for yourself, I think that tool is okay also. I had a friend one time who was super smart friend and he's no longer with us in this planet, but he used to say the steam that makes the whistle blow never makes the engine go. And I was like, what does that mean? The steam that makes the whistle blow never makes the engine go. And because I would walk around and I would just tell all these things all out in the world, right? And he would say, where are you trying to go? And you've got to kind of reserve your steam and your power and your energy for that, right? And so I think about these mantras sometimes. They're great to share. You can post them out there. But also what's most powerful is that you're telling them to yourself, whether they're in the mirror, whether you're repeating it in your head, if you're doing yoga, if you're meditating, whatever that is. I just feel like that's the energy and the engine, right? That gets us over the hump when we're doubtful or we're feeling bad. So are these helpful so far, these sorts of tools? I know we use them maybe in other parts of our life, but I think when we frame it around body confidence, it makes sense. Yeah. Because we've spent most of our time together today not talking about our bodies. But rather talking about the emotions that live in our bodies, the relationships we have with our bodies, the way that we're able to show up in the world and be in the world. And so again, I think it's a balance, right? We want to be in our bodies and taking good care and loving and experiencing them, whatever makes you joyful, but also remembering that there's just so much more. Yeah, that's the beyond part. So I love words. I know we love movement. We do indeed. So I thought we would all take a moment to stand up and maybe Iskra, you can walk us through some power moves with our mantras. Yes. Okay, so I'm so happy that we're now on our feet a little bit because we want to take the thinking and the words and we want to put it in our bodies, right? Yeah. So should we do this? Should we think of a power phrase or a power word and attach it to a physicality?
Well, I would like to start with I'm enough.
Ooh, yeah,
and I just like that in the stance. So a lot of people always ask me, because of being a model, how do you pose? How do you have a stance that feels confident? So my main thing is, if you see a photo where you're like, wow, that person is confident, it's all in the way they are standing. So it's very important, and it's essentially the first thing I'd say is it's about taking up space. That person is taking control of the moment, of the photo, of their body, and they are just taking up space. So if we take a deep breath in, And already I've slightly pied my feet. And so what I want you to get into is a stable enough pose that someone couldn't push you over. And that's something weird to say, but in a photo, I will be in a pose. If I'm in a pose like this, like, but now, woo! You see,
Solid,
you
mama.
see the power in that pose?
Wait, try that with me. Try that with me. If I pose like this.
Well, try just kind of like being more kind of
more cash.
you know, if you were insecure in a photo, or
Yes.
and now be the powerful Jess that you are meant to be.
Big difference.
See?
Yeah.
And
Also, the grounding of the feet
Just
is
the
amazing.
grounding of the feet. You are connected. You are here. You are present. You are meant to be here. So if we get into that pose, and we take that deep breath, I am enough.
Let's also say that, shall we?
Say it. Yeah, I want you to say it.
I am enough. Woo!
Feel
I got
good?
the willies. Okay, let's do it one more time. Okay, I want more.
Okay, it's okay. And get into it, like you are moving into it. You're like locked in position. Imagine you're building a puzzle.
I'm gonna do my gauge.
And you're the final piece of that puzzle. You're going in there and you are here. You are
Ooh, I like it.
locked
Okay.
in.
All right, here we go.
Locked in. I am
enough. I feel so fierce right now.
Right?
I love it. I love it. And then I want to do one. I like powerful because I think that's an awesome one for us as women to say too. So how would I am powerful feel in a stance as well? So let's take a deep breath. I am powerful. Oh, I love it. We've got hands on the hips all of a sudden happening. Heads went up higher. It's amazing. So it's a beautiful synergy, right, between what we say and then how we move our bodies. What's another tip or two that we can take as far as like really the taking up space part?
Right. Walking into a room. This is a really, really important one. You're going to make first impressions. Do you want people to see you or not? So for example, when you walk into the room, let me give an example. So this is me. This is me, maybe if I was not feeling too great about myself, if something had happened in the day. Okay, this is me like, I'm Iskra, I am enough, and I'm meant to be here.
I feel like we need a volunteer. Who would like to do that?
And it's not to be too sassy, but it's just to be like, you know, hey, hi, I'm here.
Right.
Like,
and you know what you're doing, which I love too, is eye contact.
eye contact's so important.
So-
Keep your head up.
I know, and that can be hard for some people
It's
because if
very
you're an
hard.
introvert or you're
Yes.
shy or that's not a natural space for you, we're not saying you have to do that.
No.
But I think if you want to align thinking with body, and if your intention is I want to take up space and I want to come into this room and own it, if you're presenting at a class or you know you're standing up in front of friends or an organization and you want to own that space, eye contact is so important. As a speaker, that's one of my favorite things. If I can see you, right now we've got beautiful lights. I love looking at people's eyes because we spend so much time on the screen.
And I
forget
say-
what people look like, right?
I would
in
say
real
I was
life.
almost able to fake a lot of my confidence before I had it, purely because I was a model and I knew how to pose and I knew how to walk into a room. So I would say, a lot of it was kind of fake it till you make it with me because I would know how to pose that would make me look confident, but I wasn't really there yet. So mine was maybe backwards. Maybe other people are more confident, but they don't know how to embody that yet.
Yep. Who wants to try just walking in and owning space? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Okay.
So say you walk into the room
Yeah.
and you are working on that confidence piece, but then you're getting that energy that it's not coming back to you. So what maybe those other people are insecure, so it still feels awkward. How do you kind of get over that?
Good question.
This is your own gauge of feeling. You know, no matter what anyone else is doing, I think that's where the body confidence, we've worked so much on self, it's still just holding strong in that self. No matter what else is going on anywhere else, I'm still going to do me, I'm still going to do what I need to do, I'm still going to be present, take up space. And hopefully maybe your energy will encourage other people. You can bring it out of people and it might take a while, but I've certainly had conversations with people and been able to give them a little boost and make them feel more confident. And I've seen them change, even just over the course of like a first meeting or getting to know someone. Even my old housemate, she said she would never have walked around the house naked, but she said she didn't even realize I was doing it to her, but she was like, wow, you know, it's because of being around you and your energy. Now I realize that, you know, I look great and I'm curvy and da 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 da.
Right. I would add one more thing to that question too, and is that give yourself a chance to acknowledge if you're not getting the energy back. So sometimes, like I think to go like even a little bit deeper, if I did walk into the room, if I was doing what Iskra just did, and I was coming to present to you as an example, right? And I walked in and I owned that space, and why don't we do that? And you guys not pay attention, or not pay as much attention, or give me as much love back, right? So I walk in, right? It definitely sucks, right?
Yeah.
So you can internalize it, but what I would,
Internalizing it, like, oh, it's something about me that they're not responding
so here's
to,
here's
but
what,
it's actually
yeah.
not that.
No, so that's what I would say is give yourself a moment to acknowledge, wow, that doesn't feel great. And then this is where power mantras come in, right? Then you pull yourself back, right? Which is what you're here to do. If I'm here to speak, I'm here to be of service. If I'm even presenting a class project, right? I'm here to focus on my gift in this project or my responsibility. So, but acknowledging it is important, because I think if we don't, then that could play tricks on your mind, right? So if I didn't acknowledge that I wasn't getting back what I wanted, it might sabotage that for me. But I think it's okay to be like, wow, or if you go into a meeting and somebody doesn't greet you with the same energy back, it's not about you typically.
When someone doesn't remember your name or anything like that, or even as me as a public figure sometimes, you might think someone knows who you are, and then you realize they don't have a clue. But it's okay. And in the moment you just learn it, and you're like, well, it doesn't matter anyway, does it? But it's kind of funny. So I run through all those things in my head. So yeah.
What I love about what we're talking about today is these are pretty big concepts that we want to make really tangible to work with. And so the biggest part is, again, being detailed. So in that moment, notice that detail. Oh, I didn't get that same kind of love back. That's okay. I'm going to give it back out. But what I will advise us to do is not over-rotate, to start to please or play to that person, right? Because that will be like a vortex, a black hole. You will keep like giving and no one will give back. I think that's where you pull back your energy. Say your power mantra, say something that's going to get you back to center. And actually, I think it's where you focus, right? Where you pull your focus back. Anybody want to practice walking, moving in the space, owning some space, showing us some power positioning?
I'll walk it.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will. Yes, you will.
I feel like we need a theme tune.
Oh, she's got a long runway.
Build up.
She's in the next room.
Build up. She's in the next room.
Oh! Nicely done. Anybody? It is.
I think too is like I'm overly extroverted and positive, and not everyone responds to that. So I'm like always smiling, and people are like, "It's Monday, why are you smiling?"
She looks like a work every day like that. So let's be real.
She's doing a gratitude list. I mean,
she is.
So I think like adding a smile to that. It's difficult for some people, but I try to like, even if it's Monday and it's cold, like try to smile up.
Iskra said something so right on, which is I think we're honestly, everybody's faking it till we make it. I mean, really, in all different places, right? It's how we grow, it's how we learn. But I think so if the smile feels organic, if that's who you are, never ever dim that stuff, right? If people can't handle it, they don't take it. I always feel like what is mine will be mine, what is not mine, I cannot make mine. So like I have to own what I can and give up what I can't.
Yeah, my mum's Irish and she could talk to absolutely anybody, anywhere, and I get uncomfortable with that sometimes, but I just kind of like, you know what, don't need to push myself like that if it's something that isn't, part of who I am, but you know what, I do other things amazingly well, and I feel confident in so many other areas, so it's like, you don't have to. I spoke to an introvert yesterday actually at the Aerie talk, and one of her things was that I want to be more outgoing. So we were just working on the fact that it didn't need to look like someone else's outgoing.
Right.
It was just something that she wanted to just build on a little bit and feel more comfortable with.
I love that. I'm going to confidently walk back to my chair. I love that so much because I think that's a great way to kind of close out this conversation, which is that your body confidence will not look like somebody else's body confidence.
Yes.
It will be for you, by you.
And it might not look like someone on a beach in a bikini,
Right. And what I love about that is when we focus on the details of our own life, we will stop looking at other people in a way that promotes jealousy or competition or comparison, and we'll realize that there's enough. There's enough body confidence to go around. There's enough self-esteem for everybody.
Abundance of love.
Yes.
Yeah.
Abundance of love. And so hopefully today through this conversation of like breaking down beauty ideals, you know, thinking about what you're really grateful for specifically, developing a consistent routine to create power mantras, to even then live it in your body. These are the tools of body confidence. And these are just some of the tools. There'll be many, many more that we'll be exploring in Aerie Real Life Workshops. And this is the beauty of this conversation, is that it is ongoing, that we're all on this journey together.